Hi all. We are continuing our discussion on components of curriculum. We have already gone through aims, goals and objectives. So that's the first component. And the second one, the curriculum content. So today in this presentation, we will discuss about curriculum content, its selection and organization. So what is meant by curriculum content? So the contents in the curriculum. So curriculum, as we have seen, it's a sum total for the entire duration of a specific program or a course. So what shall be its content? How we can explain or describe what curriculum content is? So it can be expressed as the sum of syllabus, teaching, learning and assessment activities. So syllabus is only one aspect in the curriculum. Unfortunately or unfortunately, mainly our system of education is focused on covering up the syllabus. So syllabus is only a means. It provides a set of topics. It's only one part. And how this syllabus get transacted and translated into learning, that's more important. So in any way, we can say curriculum content as the sum of syllabus, then teaching, learning and assessment. And the content can be mainly of two forms. So there shall be in theoretical form as well as in practical form. So the theoretical content in a curriculum shall be, of course, syllabus is there. Along with that, teacher activities such as lectures, instructions, etc. Then schedule of the program means duration, scheduling of semester, scheduling of courses within a program, etc. Scheduling of activities. Then timetable. All these compose the theoretical content of curriculum. It's the theoretical part because it is the passive part in a learner point of view, because it is teacher oriented or teacher dominant, teacher directed aspect of curriculum content. Of course, there will be the syllabus or the list of topics, subjects specified, the topics specified or activities listed, all those things along with the teacher activities in the form of lectures mainly. Then various instructions by the teachers, then directions by the institution, scheduling of the duration as well as the beginning and end point, whether it begins at along with the academic year, the 1st June and ends by the 31st March. Is there any semester end break or summer vacation, any other vacation, etc. Any semester exchange program. All those things act as the theoretical form or theoretical part of the curriculum content. And the practical form, there of course practical forms means active component in a learning point of view. Of course, it is the learner activities. What all activities are planned and intended in a curriculum? There shall be a focus on certain activities. Suppose in your curriculum, the practical components such as presentations, then internship, yoga, ICT. All these are some then data collection. All these are some kind of learner activities. Then preparing assignments, not just copying down from a single source, but by referring different sources and compile your assignment. So such kind of learner activities. Then attempting the test items, any kind of test, inventories, etc. So such kind of learner activities will be there in a curriculum as in practical form. Then there shall be demonstrations. Learners have to demonstrate something. Then field work. Have to visit some institution or to attach to some institution for certain period of time. Say for example for 1 or 2 weeks. And there shall be some internship. So in B.Ed, etc., you will have some 4 months to 6 months internship in a school. So such kind of practical aspect, practical content in a curriculum. So there are two forms, theoretical as well as practical. In theoretical, it is teacher initiated, teacher dominant, or institution directed activities. And the practical components, mainly active in a learner point of view, various kinds of learner activities. Now let us see how to select contents in a curriculum. So there comes the first question. The significant content. What shall be the significant content for a curriculum? We begin with syllabus. It's a sum of syllabus, curriculum. So syllabus, of course, is an important component in a curriculum. So the significant content means significant topics, significant theoretical, significant content in theoretical form as well as significant content for practical form. So both are necessary. The theoretical part or the teacher initiated content such as syllabus, schedule, timetable, lectures, etc., as well as learner active component. Various types of learner activities also shall be significant. So that's the first aspect while we are planning for selecting content for a given curriculum. So while selecting topics, is based on what is the nature of the curriculum, whether it is subject centered or discipline centered or learner centered. So whether it is oriented towards subject or discipline or towards learner, more emphasis is on learner or subject. That's another question. When we give emphasis to, or when we follow the principles of a subject centered curriculum, emphasis is on acquisition of content, mainly theoretical or sometimes practical as well. So in any case, about 80% or more shall be theoretical, and in some disciplines there shall be some 100% theoretical content. The practical component, learner active elements, will be negligible or nil. So only when we analyze the curriculums critically we can say how far our curriculum is practical. What is the ratio of this theoretical and practical components? So if subject centered, then there shall be emphasis on subjects, topics related to a given discipline. And when the curriculum is learner centered, then the forms of content shall be mainly practical oriented, practice oriented, learner oriented. More learner activity will be there. Learner may not be wait in the class for the teacher to come and talk something, because learner can do. Learner is the director of learning activities. The learner determines what, when, and how to learn. So these two directions, whether it is subject centered or learner centered, determine what shall be the nature of content that we have to select for a curriculum. So in any case, the selected content shall be significant. Say, for example, in school curriculum, we have studied about various diseases, and we will study the name of the disease causing organism, pathogen, virus or bacteria, its scientific name, who invented in which year. All these things are given high emphasis, but less emphasis on how we can prevent all these things. So the current pandemic shows that what our school education missed out, because we are not socially disciplined. That of course was the significant content. What we shall do, what shall be our behavior to check the spread of such a pandemic. We are doing some activities on seeing some advertisement or seeing some authorities who will try to fine us. Only that time we are aware of or mask sanitization, and not at all social distancing. Majority, not all, but we can see like that in society. So that social discipline element, that shall be a significant content because human beings are basically social. What all things we have to refuse. The conservation principle, you might have remember the 4R principle: refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. So that refuse to go out in a crowd, reduce going out, reuse, you have to use something instead of going out to buy something new, try to reuse. So such kind of a social thinking as well as social discipline, such elements shall be highlighted in topics, not in which year this particular thing is invented or by the scientist, or it is not like that. What is significant in the present and future life of the learner, that is significant. That is the significant content. So whether it is theoretical or practical, to ensure that the content selected shall be significant in nature. Then the topic shall be, or the subject shall be, the theoretical or practical element shall be valid in nature. It should be valid, should not be outdated. Validity should be there, should be utilizable, not for not utilizable. It shall have its own value, the benefit. For instance, you just remember what all things you have studied in the last course, most probably the B.Ed program. Majority of things may be forgotten because most of them are not valid for you. If it is valid, naturally you will remember those. You will remember the name of your friends because it is valid for you. You may remember some other things. So when we come across to our studies or education, you may remember the name of your teachers, but you may not remember what they talked in your classes, what they are trying to teach you. So because that may not be valid, but you may acquire some other things from them, their mannerisms. That may be valid for you when you enter in your own teaching. When you are going to teach, you may remember their mannerisms, their style. So that is valid for you. So in such a way, the content selected shall be valid. It should serve some purpose. Not merely this is required for higher studies. It is not like that. Then utility. The content shall have any kind of utility in future life or future work on the respective field for the learner. So that's why ICT incorporated. in the curriculum, because the world is driven greatly by technology. So as teachers, it is essential to develop capacity to handle various kinds of tools and technology. So the utility. So it may not be treated as a separate subject, a separate course, or separate practical component, but it shall be integrated in all activities. If you want to develop the capacity in handling technology, you have to integrate it in your daily activities, daily class activities, in submission of your assignments, in attempting your case, in sharing your answers, all those things. Only then this capacity can be fully developed. So the content shall be utilizable. Then learnability. Certain topics shall be highly complex or complicated, may not be appropriate to the level of the learner. Even for you in your some curriculum, when it was implemented for the first time, there were some topics which are not at all required, not only required, but it is higher than what is required for you, because it is so complex regarding programming, etc. It is not relevant for us teachers. It is not our duty to write some programs or develop some programs, etc. We require some tools, and we should have a proper awareness about how to utilize these particular tools or devices for better teaching learning process. So that learnability, certain content may be so complex for the level of the learners or nature of the program. So that's another criteria for selection of content. Then feasibility, whether this content is feasible to incorporate in the curriculum. Certain things may not be feasible. So that also is a criteria for selection of content in curriculum. So it shall be significant content. It depends on subject-centered or learner-centered. Then validity of the content, utility of the content. It shall be learnable and feasible. So how to organize the content, that also is very, very important. Not only selection, but its organization, effective organization also is essential. It's just like editing of a video or a movie. So the flow of a video is heavily dependent on its editing process. It's similarly the organization of the content, that content editing, that is actually the organization. Means placing the various components at its appropriate places, appropriate points. That's very significant. So that curriculum editing for its content organization. Which all courses shall be, if it's a 2-year program, then naturally the program will have 4 semesters and what about the courses, nature of courses? Where do we place so and so courses in a program? And in each course, where do we place topics or units? What shall be its rule and principle, etc. So curriculum in general, there shall be an organization, and within the course also there shall be organization. Within the activities, say for example research and all, internship, all those practical elements are there. So where to begin and how to proceed till the end, all these things shall be incorporated in this organization part. So this organization is influenced by or determined by sequencing. Sequencing of the components, the theoretical as well as practical. Teacher dominated as well as learner oriented. How we sequence these things. That is also is important. The sequencing of courses through various semesters. Then sequencing of topics within the courses, sequencing of practical components, such and such things shall be considered while organizing content. Then integration. So there shall be integration between theoretical and practical component. So for example, research and statistics. There are two separate courses in your program. Research is a program. Statistics is another program, another course. Both are different courses in the same program. But we shall have to integrate these together. It shall be developed in an integrated fashion through your research dissertation. That's only an example. In all other courses, that also shall be well integrated. There shall be integration between core elements in a program as well as elective components in a program. There shall be integration between topics within a course. There shall be proper integration between theoretical as well as practical components. So there shall be various levels of integration that shall be taken into consideration while organizing content, whether these theoretical and practical activities are properly integrated. All courses within a program are properly integrated, and the topics are integrated effectively. Then continuity. The content for a curriculum shall have a continuity. As we have said earlier, the flow of a video, the flow of a movie. So that continuity shall be there. You should not be asked to submit the dissertation in your first semester. Instead of that, you are directed to select a topic for research in your semester 2. Then you will prepare a proposal and present it. And after approval, you will develop some tools, techniques, etc. and conduct data collection in third semester. And in semester 4, you will analyze your data and develop your report. So that's a continuous activity. So similarly, there shall be continuity between semesters, between theoretical and its practicals. There shall be continuity within every course, topics within a course. There shall be continuity between teacher and learner activity. All scope shall be identified while organizing content. Then balance. There shall be proper balance. There shall be required or appropriate weightage for different elements, theoretical as well as practical. Then if it is a learner oriented curriculum, then there is not designated or differentiated as theoretical and practical, because in a learner oriented curriculum, naturally there will be more practical elements, because that's essential for meaningful learning. That's essential for adequate learning or optimum learning by learners, because only the learner know what she or he required to learn. So the balance of these components, theoretical as well as practical. Then courses, different core elements as well as elective elements. Then topics, number of modules, all those things. There shall be a common pattern within the program or between the semesters as well. There shall be almost equal number of courses in all semesters. There shall be a evenly distributed weightage, etc., of credit, etc. So sequencing, integration, continuity, and balance are essential while organizing the content. So that's the end of this presentation, in which we discussed about selection and organization of curriculum content. So thanks for watching the presentation. Thank you all.